Welcome to the 7th edition, I do believe, of the Aurovine video podcast. And today we have some old friends to talk about again with Hooyoosay and a brand new band called the Looking Glass Lantern, who we want to be plugging as best we can because they're doing very well on the Aurovine at the moment. How are you doing, Ken?
Yeah, really good, thanks Dave. The Looking Glass Lantern is an interesting one because they only registered with the site 4 or 5 weeks ago, and they've gone right into the top 5 of the chart. And it's not, I don't think it's any coincidence that they've been doing a lot of plugging on Twitter and completely independently of anything we've been doing, and they're certainly using the site as it's meant to be used, and seem to be getting a lot of plays in terms of the way that they've spread the word socially. They've used a number of plays to kind of promote certain tracks, and they've appeared in the chart. And I mean, not only that, I mean, I'm actually a big fan of progressive rock music, and it's that classic progressive rock music that I like, and I think most prog fans will like. So that's obviously in no small part a contributing factor to why they're doing so well. Well,
from a prog perspective, I'm a newcomer, but I've been looking at what they've done. I do like this idea of storytelling, which is a big part of what prog is. It tells a whole long story, and we'll come on to those guys very, very shortly, because I want to start with Hooyoosay first.
Hooyoosay, yeah, we've spoken about these in one of the earlier podcasts, and they're a really interesting band because they do primarily Rolling Stones covers, and they've got a new EP out, I believe, Dave.
That's right. It's called Come On. It's the Come On EP. Again, taking 2 Rolling Stones tracks from, I would suggest, the early 60s.
It's the obscure stuff, isn't it?
It's the real obscure stuff. Yeah, I mean, some of this stuff, this track, the Under Assistant West Coast promotion, man.
Yeah, I really like this one. It's kind of in that sort of earthy 60s style, isn't it? Unplugged style, almost.
And the version that they've done, because sometimes Hooyoosay will do their own type of version, and sometimes they'll just go with a straight, basically a straight cover, a rendition of the original. But we've got 2 to look at right now. I'm going to start with Come On, and this has got a bit of a sort of a Euro feel to it, a Euro beat feel to it. Have a listen to this one.
Everything is wrong since me and my baby party. All day long I'm walking cause I couldn't get my car started. Laid off from my job and I can't afford to check it. Why don't somebody come along and run into it and wreck it? Come on, since my baby party, come on, I can't get started. Come on, I can't afford to check it. Why don't somebody come along and run into it and wreck it? Everything is wrong since I've been without you. Every night I lie awake thinking about you. Every time the phone rings it sounds like thunder. There's some stupid guy trying to reach another number. Come on, since I've been without you. Come on, steady thinking about you. Come on, phone sounds like thunder. Some stupid guy trying to reach another number. When they come into town, but they laugh at my toothpaste, they sure do put me down. Well, I'm sitting here and thinking just how sharp I am. Yeah, I'm sitting here and thinking just how sharp I am. Unnecessary talent behind every rock and roll band. Oh yeah, that's what I am, a rock and roll band promo man.
from some of the earlier stuff. Well, certainly from the stuff we played on the last show, I got kind of more of a Euro sort of BT influence on that one.
They've definitely introduced some sort of a poppy element. So if you listen to the original, it's quite a funky beat anyway, and they've given it a real kind of a modern feel, I would suggest. Not a radical change, but it's definitely quite a modern feel.
It doesn't jump out and say Rolling Stones to you, that one, does it?
No, not at all. But then again, it's an interesting way to be introduced to the Rolling Stones. This in some ways.
Well, what about the mysterious origins that we touched on, or the kind of they're cloaked in secrecy, aren't they? This band.
They are. I think you know more about this than I do, but from what you can see on Aurovine, there are no pictures. There's no gigs. It's purely a studio band that produce early Rolling Stones covers, and that's about as much as anyone knows about these guys.
Yeah, and it says on their profile that they just get together kind of irregularly or haphazardly, go into a studio and kind of put stuff down as loosely as that. Minimal rehearsals, and they just go for it.
But what's sort of strange to me, I'm trying to work out, is that if it's just four guys, whoever, we're trying to work out, are they older guys or the young crew?
That's the mysterious part, isn't it? We don't know. They could be. You get the impression they're young guys, but then again, they might not be, because nobody knows anything about them.
They've obviously done the research, but they're going to great lengths to, they're coming on Aurovine. They've released an EP. They're promoting it constantly. For something that's just loosely put together, they're spending a lot of time and effort putting Rolling Stone covers together. It's a really strange setup.
Well, that 60s psychedelia kind of vibe image is quite cool at the moment, isn't it? And a lot of bands are looking to get that image. It's not an easy image to get, but just because of the fact that it's set in the 60s, and they've got that sort of faded, Polaroid sort of feel to their image, and I think they've done it really well.
Yeah, it'd be really interesting to see how far they go. Maybe one day we'll get to interview them.
Yeah, who knows? Let's play this next one. Is more back to their usual style of fairly close renditions of the early Stones material.
It is indeed. This is called the Under Assistant West Coast Promotion Man.
West Coast promo man. Well, I promo groups when they come into town. Yeah, promo groups when they come into town. But they laugh at my toupee, they sure do put me down. Well, I'm sitting here and thinking just how sharp I am. Yeah, I'm sitting here and thinking just how sharp I am. The necessary talent behind every rock and roll band. Oh yeah, that's what I am, a rock and roll band promo man.
That was the Under Assistant West Coast Promotion Man by Hooyoosay, and it'd be interesting to see how far these guys go, because I don't think they're set up to take on the world, but they're fairly serious about their image and the fact that it's a little bit different than the way anyone else is doing it. But definitely one for us to keep tabs on, I think, Dave.
Yeah, absolutely. Stay tuned and watch this space, I think. Should we move on then? So this is the to the Looking Glass Lantern, prog guys. This is definitely more your bag, Ken.
Yeah, I mean, they just sort of have come out of nowhere. I hadn't heard a lot about this band before they came onto Aurovine, but the album on there is really special.
The Tapestry of Tales.
That's the one. Yeah. It's like I say, I think the Blue Carbuncle, one of the tracks, has been right up at the top of the charts for quite a few weeks now, hovering around 3-4 position, and I know that they've been getting a lot of play. We know that there's a lot of prog fans that listen on Aurovine and are on the mailing list, so obviously that helps a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, the quality of the music is what strikes me. It's really, really good sort of Genesis era type prog, but obviously original.
High quality stuff. What the thing that gets me and grabs me, and I mentioned this earlier, is what works for me about prog is that I think I get it subconsciously maybe, but I get it in that I love the storytelling. I love the detail in the music that's almost telling a story on top.
Now this one's got Sherlock Holmes theme running through the album, hasn't it?
Yeah, the two tracks we're going to play is obviously the Blue Carbuncle, which is the main track on the first track on the album, but Six Pills to Mary is the video that we'll show towards the end, and that's Mary as in Mary Watson, which is the wife of
Dr. Watson.
Dr. Watson.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that's listen, it's a very, very beautiful song, and it's a very simple video that we'll illustrate that later on.
Okay, so we'll start off with the audio to the other track we're going to play, which is
the Blue Carbuncle.
The Blue Carbuncle. Let's give that one a whirl.
Absolutely.
It's arrived on Christmas morning, together with a good fat goose. Neath the gaslight glow, a tallish man was seen in summer frame. To God himself a stick was raised, which broke a window near. He dropped us in all innocence, yet gave us quite a lead. See how it sparkles, a nucleus and focus of crime. A sinister history with no end. The stars were shining coldly in a cloudless sky. A loudly ringing footfalls joined the passers-by. A December night in London town. Showing grace, just about to leave when a disturbance is you fall. The frightened man was colourless and scared, questioning attention unforeseen. Now knowing that assistance was at hand, he cried for joy. A windswept market was no place to talk with such a fearful soul. Half frightened eyes glancing round. The fire was burning brightly in a cozy room. The shaking guest not knowing that he was through. The brightest little gem of radiant blue.
There you go. That's the Blue Carbuncle by the Looking Glass Lantern, and quite a lengthy song, but it sets the scene. Like I say, it's the first track on the album. I think it's six songs on the album. It sets the scene brilliantly, and I love the idea of the website set up in such a way that you can actually, it talks through each of the songs, each of the tracks on the album, and tells you the story behind it and how they put it together. And it sets off, as you heard at the beginning, the violin at the start is actually Sherlock Holmes playing the violin in his rooms, as they call it, and it starts it off, and it's about a guy who's committed a murder, who's been falsely accused, and he's trying to convince Sherlock Holmes of his innocence. That's the whole
concept album in true prog style.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah, and it sets it absolutely brilliantly.
It's funny, it goes back to the days when albums were albums and you had to listen to the whole thing, which, like, it's almost disappeared that now, isn't it? Like with this sort of random one-track culture we live in, that albums are...
The iPod era, yes.
Yeah, I think it was only a couple of weeks ago I was reading that album sales in the US, even digital album sales, have like halved in the last year.
Really?
Yeah. So the album is dying, unfortunately, and let's get it back going.
Well, I think, to be honest, you say that, Ken. I think they believed that the whole physical concept, as soon as digital music came in, they believed the whole physical thing would die out, and it sort of bottomed out. And I think they believe, you look at some of the stats, that it has bottomed out and it's starting to come back in. And from our radio shows that we used to do, when we had some of the prog shows, we had a couple of guys come in and talk to us either on the phone or on Skype or in the studio, and they all agreed that they all still listen to albums, and you have to listen to it from start to finish. There isn't any this track or this track now, this track later. So the concept is actually still there, and I think it will come back in. I really do.
I hope so. I hope it's not just a generational thing that will die out. Who knows what will happen? But yeah, I think the album's really important. I mean, I've gone back to listening to vinyl, so what do I know? But there's nothing like listening to if you've got the time, of course, listening to an album from start to finish or whatever. That's what we were brought up on, and that's why we like it. But obviously, the new generation's brought up on single tracks, so you can't hold too much against them. But a few of them, I think, are discovering that that's the best way to listen to music.
I think they're going back to the roots. I think the kids are going back to the roots. The young bands these days really love releasing stuff from vinyl.
Yeah.
So I don't think it'll die.
Yeah. So check out Looking Glass Lantern on the Aurovine site. You'll find them in the charts probably, and if not, just type in lookingglasslantern.aurovine.com, and we'll finish off the show with the video that Dave mentioned earlier on.
Yeah, absolutely. This is actually the second track on the album. So you've just heard the first one with Blue Carbuncle, and then from there it goes into this beautiful ballad. I think is probably the best description for it, of Six Pearls to Mary. And this is a very simple video for us to finish the show on, and it basically talks of a very sad story of the death of Dr. Watson's wife Mary, and it's called Six Pearls to Mary.
Says he could go, 'cause he'll always come home. Her lifelong companion, her lover and friend. She gave up her fortune, her soulmate.